Okay, friends, I think we're live. I'm going to need 2 minutes to set up. So if you're joining the live stream right away, be patient. If you're coming in a little after the fact, after we're no longer live, I don't know how long I'm going to go for here. I'm just hitting stream. Someone did suggest I should go live. I should have more live streams. The reason I don't like to do that is because I get advertising revenue. And you've noticed what I don't do is I don't put ads mid-video. I intentionally do that because I feel like that interrupts my, my art. So I lose out on revenue for that. I feel like it's a pain in the ass. Like I know before I had YouTube Premium, when I would find myself, hey everybody, when I would find myself having to watch commercials, I would find it very annoying when they were in the middle of a video. So I said, I'm never going to do that, even if I put a couple at the beginning. Problem with that is I lose about 30% of the revenue I'd be making, right? So when I do a live stream, I'm losing the revenue that I would have kept. You get the idea. So if you feel like hitting the thanks button, and if we have enough people watching here, I'll go for quite a while. I'm not exactly sure what that means yet, but it's not out of the question. If there's a lot of people here and asking questions and things are going good, that we could find ourselves here for quite some time. And maybe even I would do things like take a break and put a video on here and then come back and repeat or whatever, right? So some of the things we're thinking about right now, I'm just trying to share this around and get an image put up on the front, and before I can go to the radar, and we'll go to the radar first, so that and what I'm doing is I'm setting up my other laptop so that I can watch everyone's comments. So I can see Celeste and Dwayne and Dorothy and Arnold, and keep an eye on that in one eyeball while I so trying some different things here, and see how this goes. I do enjoy being live. I find our Thursday nights are really fun. I put a call out and share. The reason why I'm on Zoom and not using my OBS right now is because Zoom I can have guests come on. So I put the link to the Meteorological panel, and I don't know if anyone's free or if any of them will show up, but it is possible that we will have a few of them coming. I know Karen right now is driving. She says she's beat the storm, though. Sharing this to Facebook right now. And I should have said on there, please share, because I can't share to my weather group right now. It's a big problem for me. Okay, I'm almost ready to go here. One more place I got to share this to is to the Blue Sky. I've been really contemplating making Blue Sky the platform that I do most of my social media on, because I'm finding Facebook restrictions are screwing me over so often that I can't reliably use the app. So it may just be that Facebook soon becomes a place where I only post weather stuff and become less and less personal. What a day I had today. I drove into town and realized once I'd filled my shopping cart that I had no wallet in my back pocket. It was a crappy afternoon. That's a 160-kilometer round trip. Luckily, there was enough gas in the truck to make that trip there and back with some to spare. I am live talking BC storm shared. Okay, let's get on to the radar right now, because there's stuff happening out there. And this is one benefit of going live, is that I can be current, right? Instead of what's happening right now too is that my software, I spent money last night, thanks to you donors, on a second video editing software, because I'm having trouble exporting from the one I use. And I find, at some point I had to accept the fact that I'm a video producer, and there's not one thing out there that does everything that I want. So now I'm going to have 2 video editing programs. So I'm going to play around with this. The new one I've got, it's got way more AI features and way more. It can make things really pretty. So I'm really stoked on it, actually, because it will allow me to do more creative, professional looking things with some of my video content. So a second service that I've paid for. So now we're looking at already snowfall happening in southern BC right now. And then we can see Kelowna already. Well, who's all getting this right now? This is a pretty good looking band. And you can see on radar, snow doesn't reflect very well on radar. So the problem with radar reflectivity is raindrops give a very solid thing for it to bounce off of, and snow does not. So snow diffuses the radar beam. You don't get that bounce back off the radio signal the way you would like. So you get this much blurrier looking thing. Whereas if you go look at rain, for example, we'll go and check out Vancouver right now. You can see the rain is really shows up. So that rain is falling, that radar beam is punching through. Of course, it's going up at an angle. So the further you go away from the radar site, the higher the radar beam is going. So it is measuring rain falling. It cannot measure the clouds. So when you see this radar, this is telling you what's going on. We'll come back to the lower mainland in a second, because we are right now focused on who's getting snow right now. And who is it? Well, it looks like Willowbrook, Karamia, Olalla, anywhere down that highway, down that bottom 97 section, that 93. Oh, sorry, my phone made a weird noise I'm not used to. Highway 3, Headley area, taking a little bit of snow. I would think that Bridesville, that Anarchist Mountain section there, it's a pretty nasty road at times, right? It's really windy up and down that Anarchist Mountain, especially, on the Bridesville side and on the Osoyoos side. Not so much when you're up on top, which is, you have the worst weather conditions up there, but at least the road's a little straighter. And then you have those transitions as you're coming down. I've had that too, coming down that stretch of highway, coming back from a tour. And the fog was so thick when we dropped down, and you just couldn't see a thing. Really heavy precip happening. Beaverdale, Carmi, up that whole highway. Is that Highway 6? No, it's not Highway 6. What? 33, that's that highway. That's right. Highway 33 out of Kelowna. Westbridge, all those areas. And we're not getting really good returns and reflectivity out here, but I would suspect that snow line is continuing on down. Even though we're not getting a good view of it on radar, I would expect that places like Grand Forks are probably seeing that right now. I've heard people in the Kootenay saying that they're getting a fair bit of snow. Currently snowing in Kelowna, says Catch You Wonder. It was raining for the last few hours, so that's interesting to see. When I turned the radar on before I started streaming, there was a lot of green showing up here. And now the radar is really telling us that it's blue. That's telling us it's snow. Now the radar can't tell you if it's rain or if it's snow. There's calculations being made that translate and then gives you this depiction that looks like so. It says, okay, well, here's the color scheme we're going to show you on the program, right? But it can't tell you on ping, but we can tell looking at it. I could tell just by the hazy nature of this, if I didn't have the 2-screen on, if I was just going on reflectivity alone, I could tell by the nature of that what was happening is snow. So, I mean, you can still deduce from the radar what's happening. It's just the radar itself doesn't tell you that. Highway 6 area, probably, yeah. You got the Farquhar Ferry there. So you got the snow up in the Monashees. It's going to be screaming on over pretty soon into the cusp, if it's not already. That's a pretty heavy band of snow through Sicamous into the Monashees there. So they're taking it pretty good at this time. And I would expect that soon, Revelstoke Highway 1, that whole stretch through Rogers Pass, is probably going to be a disaster tonight. And we will look at all the weather watches and warnings and statements. But I did put a video out today about that. So I wanted to spend some time on the radar right off the bat. Looks like even some of that snow is falling through Cherry Creek and Savinaw. Fought wildfire right there in Savinaw once that crossed the highway. It did. It was on the news. And a lot of our boys were from Skeechiston that were on our Type 2 Advanced Wildfire crew that year in 2019. And so it was it was a home battle for them boys, and it was quite an experience. Yeah, a little bit of snow there into the South Caribou at this time. But for the Caribou itself, where's our radar? Here it is. So far, most of that, and you're going to be stoked on this, Williams Lake, because I think some of this is going to be coming at you pretty soon, if it isn't already started. You can see West Caribou, all those areas outside Nasco, out towards Cluskis, out towards Tweedsmuir. Lots of snow falling out there right now. So some pretty good bands showing up on the radar at this time. A little bit by Clean. I would suggest you do not want to go take that drive down into Hagensborg, right? That's crazy pass, even in the summer sometimes, that Heckman Pass. Fought a wildfire at Heckman Pass, actually. As a matter of fact, right. See if I can find the exact spot on here. Drop in, turn the corner. I think it was somewhere in here. Yeah, one of these spots. It's too bad with the I can't see the ground so easily with the radar depiction on there right now. So South Caribou seeing some snow so far, not much in the north. We had clear skies here in Wells, and then I drove into town, and it was quickly turning to altocumulus, and then into a thick deck of stratus. And I like your name. Please feed me poop. Can I do the high-pitched thing I do? You mean the Caribou Weather Dude YouTube channel? Yeah, how do you like that? Get a little fucking energy into this place. Mackenzie, BC is -13 and currently snowing. Not seeing snow on the radar. That doesn't necessarily mean it isn't happening. Of course, Mackenzie, at the best of times, is kind of far out, right? Kind of far out, but definitely we were cold last night. Not quite as cold as the night before. We hit -19 the night before. Snow is coming to Mackenzie. There's absolutely no doubt of that. And what form and how much is falling right now, I'm not aware of, but I expect that you're going to be seeing some pretty heavy snow into there. Pretty heavy snow. Looking down on the coast, man, and already getting a bit of a different look than we saw when we looked at here a couple minutes ago. So the new fresh update doesn't have quite as much. Well, look where all that heavy rain is. It's down the Olympic Mountains there, Port Angeles, down through Tacoma, taking a lot of it right now. We could do this, and we could put on velocity scan. Take a look where winds are going on. Ooh, it looks like it's pretty windy right now down in Vancouver. Wow, that's some velocity scan. That's pretty good looking. What are we seeing if we go into other parts of southern BC on the old velo scan? Oh, yeah, rich. So it's probably blowing quite a bit out there, I would think. Well, I can go in a minute onto the windy and find out exactly how much it's blowing. Why don't we do that? We'll come back to you, radar, but I'm going to set it back up to the way I like it so I'm not surprised when I turn it back on. And I do like to always start here in Wells. Special weather statements all in British Columbia. There you go. So nothing really happening right now in the United States. There's some mesoscale discussions, though. Precipitation discussion. Where's that for? And that's for the same storm. That's through Tacoma. What are you saying on that? All areas, western Washington and northwestern Oregon. Areas of heavy rainfall will continue to affect western Washington and northwestern Oregon through tonight. While high rainfall rates will not be constant over the next 6 to 12 hours, rates will occasionally surpass 0.5 inches an hour and locally approach 1 inch an hour. Holy, that's into the favored terrain, leading to an additional 2 to 5 inches of rain through Wednesday morning. Goes weather vapor imagery. Oh, that's a long write-up here. Shows vorticity max embedded within a broader mid-upper level trough axis, 41 north to 141 degrees west, tracking toward the east and preceded by a 130 to 150 knot upper level jet. So the upper level is really pushing this thing, tracking towards the east. Analyze the surface out ahead of the upper trough with a surface wave near 42 degrees north, 135 west. An atmospheric river was noted with peak PWatt values of 1.2 to 1.3 inches on CIRA advocated TPW imagery and RAP analysis data showed ahead of the cold front to the west of Washington, Oregon. This is probably above most of you guys' weather pay grades. So, bear with me here. That's a lot. I don't know if we have any Americans ever watching. So how much do we want to spend on that? But you get the more or less the gist. Had atmospheric river event through there, and it's windy. Really windy in Tacoma, really windy in Seattle. Okay. More or less, we have the gist currently on radar. If we are on for a while, we can come back to that. What do we have here for comments? Yeah, be plowing here in the shoe swap tomorrow. Yeah, it looks like it's coming down pretty good there right now. I think I'll be plowing tomorrow night in Fruitvale, BC. Yeah, it looks like it's 5 minutes from Washington border. Okay, yeah, well, I mean, our storm is their storm. It's just that we may be having different effects here as opposed to down their coastline, right? Down their coastline. Wow, 41 watching. That's great. Welcome. Hit like, share, subscribe, tell a friend. I'd love my New Year's resolution for next year is I'd love to see 10,000 subscribers. That's pretty good. I mean, I'm kind of halfway here to being able to eke out a survival just being a YouTuber. So I have a lot of work to do still to get there, but we're coming. We're working on it. Well, let's take some time and look at all the watches and warnings and statements right now. And if you want to hit the thanks button there and send me a Christmas present, buy me a coffee or something like that. I'm working for tips today. I took a drive all the way into Quesnel to go Christmas shopping for my kids because I was like, this year I'm not going to wait to the last minute, but I changed my pants. And when I do that, I often forget a lighter or a wallet or ridiculous. So into town I went, but luckily there was two things that did happen, at least going into town, that made the trip worth it, although I could have probably done these things on another time. But I did go spend some time with Gary Horley and his wife, and Gary's my wildfire mentor. He's the guy who first taught me about wildfire, and more or less. I was in his class, and he, right away he was like, "Well, we came to the weather section, and he's like, "Well, I'm going to let Joey answer these questions." And I was like, well, I'm in your class, but something about that already, way back then, before you had the wider reputation as a weather guy, something about that was like, yeah, I belong, and then I went to lunch with Gary during the course, and of course, it did exceedingly well, and I've done exceedingly well in my wildfire career ever since. And whenever I've needed to ask questions or he's the only mentor I have in the region. I guess I could put it that way. I got lots of friends, people I look up to, but I don't have many mentors in the Caribou, people who specifically I look to as a guide. I have other guides, people who are like my Wing Chun Kung Fu, Sifu. I have a couple, but they're all far away. One of them's in Hong Kong, right? So, I mean, I could always write to him and find, and ask questions and stuff and talk to him. But I mean, I can go and it's one of the few places I've actually gone to someone's house in the last bunch of years and had lunch or supper with them. Usually we play pool together. But I was like, well, I better get shopping, Gary, blah, blah, blah. See you guys. Good to see you. Merry Christmas. And then fill my cart and realize. And then a Samaritan was like, I've been willing to support you anyways. Why don't I just pay for the stuff? And of course, what happens when you're a Dutchman and B, you're just used to having kind of low self-worth, and you just, well, no, you can't do that for me. And then I'm driving on the road like, I should have taken their address. It's like, cool, I'll pay you back when I get home. Like, didn't, but foolishness. And then Walmart, I'm like, hey, why don't we just pretend that I online ordered this and you hold it and I'll be back in a couple of days. And like, we can't do that for you, sir. And it's like, I've given you guys thousands of dollars over the years. If I'd gone shop locally and had oh, oops, I don't have my wallet. Can you hold on to this? Yeah, nope, absolutely no problem. So that's, shows you pay for not shopping locally, even if you pay a little more at the time. This evening through Wednesday morning, Caribou, Quesnel, and Williams Lake. There you go. I know you've got no snow. You're one of the few places that's had nothing. Stewart, Nechako, Highway 16. So this whole wide swath. And look at this. They're using polygons now. This is a polygon. What do I mean by a polygon? It used to be regional specific only. So you'd have to, and sometimes you'd have a severe thunderstorm out there in the Caribou, and it's an Anaheim Lake or Chilcotin, but it's Williams Lake or something. It's 200 kilometers from your location. We had this in a wildfire, and it's like Environment Canada first sometimes doesn't give you information when they first release the warning. So we get over all our radios, severe thunderstorm warning. Everyone's like, holy, we better get out of Dodge and get to a safe place, only to find out it was like 100 kilometers away, the severe storm, because they didn't have any information at the time, and because the warning was for the Caribou, right? So now they're using this polygon system, which means they can, they're experimenting with it, where they can kind of make the warning area more in accordance to where the warning is going to happen. A moisture-laden Pacific frontal system will bring snow to parts of the northern BC interior, especially here in Wells over higher terrain. The snow will begin overnight. It will ease Wednesday morning as the system departs. Visibility may be reduced at times in the heavy snow. Over on the north coast, we have snowfall warning for areas like Kitimat, 15 to 25 centimeters for you guys there. Strong northerly winds and falling snow. Heading on a little bit further west, we got the wind warning right now, 90 kilometers an hour near the inlets and things like that. How about Clearwater? Yeah, okay, we'll get to some of this here in a few minutes. We can go look at Clearwater area right now. You are in more or less this special weather statement, which is for a bunch of regions where the snowfall warning's not been issued. So this means it's probably still going to get snowfall, but not maybe as much as this. Maybe not enough to meet warning criteria, but enough to make life difficult. Special weather statement. 10 to 15 centimeters for parts of Kootenay and Columbia districts. This evening through Wednesday afternoon. It'll take a little bit longer for you there. A little bit longer for you. Moisture-laden Pacific frontal system for the north, Thompson, Shuswap, East Kootenay, West Columbia. Snow will intensify this evening. It will persist until Wednesday afternoon. Boundary, West Kootenay, Kootenay Lake, Arrow Lake, Slocan. Snow will begin late this afternoon. It's already begun. We may transition to rain by Wednesday morning, resulting in slushy conditions. There's uncertainty regarding exact snowfall amounts and the timing of snow to rain transition for each of these regions. So snowfall warnings may be issued as the situation becomes clearer. So just because there's not a snowfall warning for you yet doesn't mean that so far tonight that may not change in Clearwater. But I would expect to see a little bit of snow for you there up to Kinbasket, all the way down the Kootenays. That's Eagle Pass, Rogers Pass, North Columbia, Kinbasket, West Columbia, Kootenay Lake, West Kootenay. Into Wednesday afternoon, 15 to 20 centimeters, 30 possible over higher elevation still yet. The higher elevation communities will likely get higher snowfall accumulations. So I would suggest if you, one of those places would be like Rossland, for example. It's kind of like Wells is, and same with, although it's maybe, I don't think Revelstoke's that high in elevation, but it takes snow in a similar manner, as does the Pine Pass. Yeah, thanks for all the comments. I'll try to keep up with this as best I can. Make sure to hit like, share, subscribe, and leave a tip by hitting thanks if you like, if you want to give me a little Christmas present. Okay, well, what about that Rogers Pass in Revelstoke? So same warning, more or less. They have a polygon for that region, but they also just include it in the larger region. That goes for the winter storm warning, a little bit different. Little winter storm warning, 30 to 40 centimeters still talking up. So Rossland, you're going to get some snow up there. You're going to get some real snow. Sure, if you haven't already started taking some of that snow. 15 to 20 centimeters on the Merritt to Kelowna. Snowfall warning for you, 15 to 20 centimeters there. 50 kilometer hour winds gusting tonight. There's a risk of blowing snow. Winter storm warning for the Coquihalla, up to 30 centimeters there. Potential for transportation delays. If you have any common sense or any reason to avoid going up there, I would avoid it. Snow at times will continue to late Wednesday morning with gradual easing. So I know that Carrie, my friend, has to go down to the coast tomorrow. She's been asking about, and I said, well, I'll look at the weather tonight when I do this for everybody, and I'll see if I can get a good answer for you. Of course, she is the mother of Caitlin Escott, who is the para-sailing, wingsuit jumping maniac friend of ours who grew up here in Wells that died 2 weeks ago. And 2 weeks ago was tough. 2 weeks ago today, Lisa died here in the house. So it was a rough week that was. So if you're leaving early in the morning, Carrie, you probably still, but I mean, you can't go anywhere and not run into bad weather right now, because even the Fraser Canyon could have 10 centimeters of snow. That will change back to rain on Wednesday morning. I would probably choose the canyon personally. That's me. Oh, look at all the warnings for the Hope to Allison Pass. I mean, there is a lot of warnings going on here. Snowfall warnings, 2 highway alerts. Yeah, okay. But more or less says the same thing that everywhere else said here. So, okay. And Merritt, you're within a special weather statement that encompasses where that snowfall warning is in the higher elevations. Ice accumulation. So you could have some freezing rain into Wednesday morning for these lower elevations. You really can't win. Traveling right now is not a good idea. And, this will ease off tomorrow, but the next frontal system slams into us Thursday. So we really don't have much time in between weather events really at all right now. Rainfall warning could see up to 50 millimeters of rain in the East Fraser Valley. That includes Hope. And 50 to 70 millimeters up along the coast. Snowfall warning for the Whistler area, 20 to 25 centimeters. 20 to 25 centimeters for you. Rainfall warning up to 50 mils on the east coast of Vancouver Island. And on the west coast, 100 millimeters of rain near Port Renfrew. Localized flooding is possible. It is that. In fact, I mean, we did look at this yesterday, but we have right here the high stream flow advisory, and they may have made an update. Yes, they did. No, they didn't. Is today the 17th? What's the date today? Okay, so they haven't made an update. So this is the same thing that if you watched my video yesterday, we were reading. So participation, Hal Johnson, Joanne McLeod. Precipitation will continue through Wednesday morning. Elevated freezing levels accompanying the storm will generate rainfall and snow melt up at low to mid elevations, particularly for Vancouver Island, North Shore Mountains, possibly extending as far north as Squamish. Current forecast precipitation totals are typical for fall winter storms in the region. It's not unusual. No. Does that necessarily mean it's awesome? That's the thing. Like people, it's normal for winter. Well, yeah, it is. But still, if your power goes out or you lose a loved one in a traffic accident in this bad weather, and you'd be like, well, why wasn't anyone talking about it? It's like you can't win when you're a weatherman, right? It's going to make a lot of snow melt. It's warm. The warmth is coming, and I can't wait because I've already had enough of the cold. What are we at right now? Minus 6.8, a huge improvement from last night. Around this, 7 o'clock last night, I made my forecast video I started, and it was minus 15 at the time. Minus 15. Going into the storm, rivers across south coast of Vancouver Island are generally at near to normal to above normal seasonal levels. And that's good news, right? So the benefit is we're surpassing expectations and coming out of that drought. So this is all really nice, right? Storms over the first 2 weekends of December boosted river levels and likely recharged soil moisture. How is the weekend looking? Going to Edmonton on Saturday. Okay, we'll get to some of that here in a few minutes. In fact, we'll pop on to here for a few minutes. And we'll come back to some of the other stuff I have on the tap. Hit like, share, subscribe, and hit the thanks there to leave a tip. Ooh, we got some lightning going on out there. Looks like in Tennessee, and a little bit into Kentucky, a little bit of lightning out there right now. As you can see, our low pressure system sitting at 983 millibars currently off the Haida Gwaii coast. And you can see where that high pressure is, 1043, screaming high pressure. Well, what is that telling us? That high pressure is cold air. That's what that is. That's screaming cold air. This low has helped usher it down in. And that's what we're really looking forward to, is having, if anyone who's in Quinella North especially, you've probably had some pretty cold nights, minus 20s and whatnot. If you go further north, we're looking at 34 below in Fort Nelson at this hour, at this moment. Very cold there at the airport in Fort Nelson. In fact, that's probably one of the coldest places. High levels got beat just by a touch, but in all of the non-territories, that's the coldest spot right now in Canada, is that little corner of Alberta and BC. So extremely cold up there, extremely cold. And nice rebound, though, for us, sitting at 8 below at the Quesnel Airport. So we're warmer than Quesnel. Thank you, inversions. I love the mountains sometimes. Yeah, it can be pretty nice to be in the mountains sometimes. Well, why don't we hit play here and watch how this thing has gone through for today, see what's going on out there, and have a little bit of a talk about this. I'll take a minute to load up. Hey, everybody. Wow, so many people watching. That's great. Great. Headed off the shoe swap this weekend. Yeah, so we'll see what we can do for a weekend look. Okay, finally we're going. Look at that's how little daylight we have right now as we're coming into the end of astronomical fall. We are already in meteorological winter. That began on December 1st. There's a difference between meteorological and astronomical fall because, you say, well, if June 21st is the longest day of the year, then theoretically we are already in summer, right? Is how it actually works. Oh, thanks very much for buying me a coffee, Tara Hess. Really, really appreciate that. Really appreciate that very much. Working for tips here, friends. So look at that. We can see today, I got to move some things around here that you can't see but are blocking things for me. So you can see today how our low has been driving that precip, and especially into Vancouver Island and into the Olympic Mountains. Got this next low out there, 951. That's strong, and it's got a nice looking comma forming. It's really sucking in and growing. East Coast. So we had some stormy conditions in Ontario, but that's now moved far into the East Coast for the time being. That high pressure is sitting there on top of everybody, and we can go in and look at some of those temperature ranges. Southern Ontario still kind of balmy there at Kingston, 5 degrees. So the warm spot in Canada right now. Besides Vancouver Island, Tofino got some 8s out there. Not so bad. Southern BC, Kamloops sitting at 0. Castlegar sitting at 0 right now. Okay, and then you see how some of the storm motion down here is that's what's giving us some of our lightning down there in Kentucky at this time. Why don't we change the kind of thing we're looking at here? This just gives us a look at where the moisture is, and well, what this is really measuring is what those colors are. It's satellite is measuring the temperature. And because of the temperature, we can deduce how tall clouds are sometimes, right? So during thunderstorm season, I like to look at this kind of stuff a lot because it really gives us a picture as to how tall are the clouds growing, and the taller the clouds are, the more moisture is in there and the more moisture that's going to fall out. So you can see that there's a pretty large plume right now already over all of southern British Columbia. It's moving in. It's going to be the nighttime story for Resolute. Nunavut, work with folks there. Canada forgets they exist. Yeah, I know. I was saying just this week that, I don't really forecast for the territories, but then, then part of me was like, well, why not? It's like, well, I got to find some boundary. But then, really the whole thing that kind of got me publicly talking in the first place was I came up to the Caribou and I said, oh, the weather's going to do this today. And someone was like, oh, you'll never predict the weather around here. No one can ever figure it out. And I was like, why? Does the weather not abide by scientific principles in the Caribou? Is this a magical place here in Wells where the rules of physics don't exist? I was like, well, there's a reason why things happen, and you can figure this out. So at that moment, I realized, like, yeah, I'm the only person around here that has any clue about meteorology whatsoever. And eventually I thought, well, I'll start talking. I was always what I would call a hobby chaser up to that point. I chased thunderstorms my whole life. Often I didn't bring a camera. Often I was out there to commune with the storms. I wanted to be there when the shit hit the fan, and it was more like a spiritual thing, I guess you could say, in some ways. Like, I would love to chase storms. So I learned, I've been learning about weather my whole life. At some point, I had to decide to share that publicly because people just weren't getting anything here. They had no idea what's going on. The Weather Network and CBC, it's like Kelowna, Vancouver, Victoria, and then over to Calgary, and then Regina, and there's your cross Canada weather checkup. And it's like, wow, man, that's some of us, I guess. Okay, so we'll run through this animation and we'll talk about the weekend and whatnot to help you out, because it seems like people are curious about that. So here we go. We're just going to go into Tuesday overnight, and we're going to stop sometime around midnight and look where things are at. So, yeah, right about there we'll stop. Right about there we'll stop. So what we got here, you can see that snow band is really, I don't know if you can even see that. It's so small looking. I don't know how to make it a different color. And I don't know how to delete it either now that I made it. There it is. Snow band up the Columbia's, up the... okay. How do I make it go away? Clear all drawings. Gotcha. Okay, I'm learning here, folks. Don't go live very much. Let's not do the drawing thing for now. We'll just use the pointer. But you can see that large band of precipitation expected around 2 in the morning, right? So by the time you're getting up for work in the morning, like there's going to be considerable snow already on the ground. You can see how that moisture is coming in, the warmth, everything's more or less fighting down there for temperature-wise. Kelowna at 1 degrees in the morning. So you can see the warm-up is coming in. The warm-up's coming in. We'll jump forward just a little bit here. Low starting to develop in the center BC. That sky is going to jump over and become a clipper. This clipper is going to quickly rush across the prairies and make for a lot of snow across the prairies over the next couple of days. Expect your weather warnings and all that coming to you in the prairies very, very, very soon. So there it moves out, quickly moves out, and there you get your clipper Thursday into the prairies, and next round into BC for Thursday afternoon already by that time. So it's going to slam in pretty quickly. By 8 a.m., you're like, oh, it's not so bad today. It's not so bad today. Yeah, I haven't checked the mail yet either. I'm not happy that they got legislated back to work. Personally, I think when one sector of the working class takes a bit of a beat down, it affects us all in the long run. Thursday night into the piece, and look at that. Your screaming cold temperatures will finally start to move out a little bit at that time. Send it over to Saskatchewan, 26 below. You can keep that. A little bit trying to hang on in BC. Hopefully we can get rid of that as fast as we can. But that warm-up coming for all of us. But look at this mess of storms out here. This is what we're coming in. This is our sort of Christmas outlook, right? We take a bit of a break on Friday. Just in time for the next bunch. But look at this. This is a colossal amount of storms. It's like next level going on out there. If this is actually what's going to happen, it's next level. Into the weekend. There you go. Into the weekend. That next bunch. So what are we looking at for Saturday? Maybe an okay travel day. Yeah, sure. If you have to go to Edmonton, yeah, you might catch a good break there. Actually, a good gap, and actually be able to get some travel done. So, but yeah, this is a kind of an looking 5 days out when you have this kind of thing going on. My certainty on forecasting past Thursday is like down. There's a lot of interactions going on here that can throw computer modeling off, can throw predictability off. Really, really cold weather. And you got some really, really warm weather. Look at that down there, 19 degrees up down there, even 13 off the coast. I would love to see some of that take over a little bit and it looks like we catch a bit of a break out of that cold. At least you do, especially if you're up in parts of the north where you've had some considerably long periods of very cold weather, and at least you can look forward to around Christmas time having a nice bit of a warm up there, maybe make it less hostile for going outside. But look at this storm pattern that we're into. I mean, how this plays out, probably looks something like that. But we are really into repeat storms coming into Christmas, right? And it's like a day off or two and back with another frontal system, a day off or two back into another system. So there's a lot of warm water down there. And you take all the warm water, and if we go to ocean temperatures, we can go look at ocean temperatures here in my menu, but it would basically mirror where this warm air is for the most part, right? So you got really warm temperatures in the ocean, you got really cold air out there. The two of them, I mean, the Arctic's always going to be cold when there's no sunlight up there at this time of year. And it's going to take a long time for any climate change scenario. It wouldn't matter. It's going to get cold in the north at some point, right? So you have that extra cold. Look at some of this stuff over here. Minus 45. That's helping feed. And this is helping feed. You got that nice interaction. So there's just a nonstop run through of stormy weather for one after another, one after another, one after another. And when it's a pattern kind of like this, I feel like, 3 to 5 day forecast is probably still reliable. But if we start trying to go past Saturday, when you have all these different storms interacting, all this different cold, all these different factors, the exact timing, location, and whatnot is what I'm saying. You can't really look at this right now and be like, well, but hey, let's try it anyways. Let's go to new snow and just play around and see. There we go. That's a nice size. New snow by Wednesday morning. Heaviest in the Kootenays, Selkirks, Columbias, some here in Wells. Strong snowfall signals there on the north coast, 58 centimeters by Wednesday at 3 in the afternoon. More or less 24 hours from now. Could see up to 60 centimeters fall in the coast mountains. Skeptical, but yeah, probably. So here's that break. And then the next one comes Thursday. There it is. So parts of the north that didn't get snow in that first round take more. North coast continues to take more. But as far as Whitehorse, yeah, I was in Whitehorse in January. I loved it. And then we'll go straight to Christmas. See what kind of snowfall totals we were looking at. Again, I just got done saying that you can't really more than 5 days out right now be certain about things, but this still gives us a pretty good idea that we're looking at some considerable snowfall totals in the next 10 days coming into Christmas. Almost everywhere is going to have a white Christmas. Almost everywhere, unless some of this stuff melts off. Man, some of these snow totals in the coast mountains, big time. That is going to make for some avalanche potential. And why don't we talk about that right now? Here we are, Avcan. This morning, this map looked completely different than it looks right now. Things changed fast. They gave all new updates. Choose small, low consequence slopes with no overhead hazards. Large reactive storm slabs will have been built overnight. If the sky clears, solar input could result in more natural avalanches. So we're looking at very high in the Alpine through most of these regions down along the coast mountains. In the Pemberton, Garibaldi says the same thing, more or less same forecast. A little less. Solar input could increase sensitivity to triggering. So they have it at considerable. What you'll notice is some of these areas were at considerable this morning, and they change. So you might leave in the morning for a 2-day trip thinking, okay, well, I know what's up. And then later that night, you get, because the storm's coming in, the forecasters give you a completely different story. Avalanche danger will be high in areas with more than 30 centimeters of new snow. So if you're in any of these areas down there in the south, in the Kootenays and through boundary country, and you get heavy snow on those steep slopes, expect that heavy snow will translate to avalanche conditions, potential for it. Nice size flakes landing in Lytton, BC, and it's sticking. Even Lytton getting some snow there. Excellent. Yeah, Graham says his mom used to live in Wells, part of the art community. Paul, oh yeah, I know Paula. Yeah, tell Paula Scott I said hi. I haven't seen her in a long time. She was out there in McBride and whatnot, or in Dunster for a while, but I haven't heard much of what a great artist and a great mind she is. And I did enjoy her in Wells. So that's pretty neat to see. It's a small world. Looking at the Highway 1 region, the Rogers Pass, intense Pacific storm will crash into Rogers Pass tonight. These guys are saying 30 to 40 centimeters. Their forecast, they're a little bit more, they're generous than Environment Canada is willing to be. Well, Environment Canada is being a little more conservative. Avalanche activity is expected through the night and into Wednesday morning. There should be avalanche control going on. That's a good point. Not only do you have all the hazards of driving through Rogers Pass coming up, but then you may, if there is no accident, still find yourself sitting at avalanche control and waiting for hours. Keep doing these streams, please, Joey. Thanks, man. Yeah, it's good to see so many people are watching. Hit like, share, subscribe, and hit that tip button there. Thanks. I'm working for tips today. I was telling everybody at the beginning how going live, I lose advertising revenue. So I'm always, I can't deliver concise things either. I would expect this to change. So it's saying moderate right now up in the Pine. I would think that's going to change. So be wary in the Pine. Let's see what the mountain weather forecast is saying. The ridge of high pressure extending into northern interior BC. This has been saying this for a couple of days. Strong, moderate outflow winds, right? The Wednesday evening, the brunt of the system begins to track off to the east. So Thursday, another low moves on to the coast. I have this toolbar that is in the way off, and I have to move it around that you can't see. There's Avalanche Canada's map. Storm 1. There's your break Wednesday into Thursday. Storm 2 showing up Thursday in the morning. Next round, Friday's the gap. Take a break. Into Saturday morning. Less of a story on Saturday and Sunday. Then another good round coming in time to start next work week. So this is what it looked like this morning. But now we know where our storm has moved up along Haida Gwaii. So this is more or less what's going on right now. So you got the outflow through the mainland inlets. So there's cold air. That's what that's talking about, outflow of the cold air. Making things a little chilly down there. Snow, risk of freezing rain from the 1,400 to 1,800 meters. There's strong winds down there. There's a bit of a warm front preceding it now. There's snow beginning, snow changing to rain in the morning. Right. Here's that cold front slapping in behind. For the BC coast, strong frontal system will continue to push on the coast. The overnight time period is when the heaviest precipitation amounts will fall for the southwest ranges. Freezing levels for Vancouver Island will shoot up near 2,500 meters overnight. The remaining southwest coastal ranges will see freezing levels rising between 1,800 meters to 2,200 meters overnight. Heavy snow will transition to heavy rain overnight. 5 to 10 centimeters of snow is possible before the transition to rain, with amounts of 50 to 70 millimeters expected. Highest amounts for the southwest-facing slopes. The Cascades have a risk for freezing rain overnight. The system will also bring extreme southwest winds to the coastal ranges. Over northwest ranges, that reminds me, I didn't look at this, and I wanted to. I'll go back to satellite for a second, because we do have strong winds going on. We'll come back to our thing here. Let's see what's happening along that coast. That's one of the things I wanted to look at. There's a ship out there reporting 72K. Got 79 off a ship on the northwest tip of Haida Gwaii at the airport in Sandspit. They got 67s reporting right now, 47s from a ship out there, more or less. You kind of get the picture. Some strong winds, but again, this isn't next level by any means. We've had a lot of storms. 81 though, 81 up the coast there. That's pretty good gust. Anything else here? Real interest? 65s off a ship there into the Howe Sound. Some 40s kicking off in there on the American side. 59s, 50 from a ship reporting out there, out by the Olympic Mountains. 59s. Hey, Gamma, thank you. Thank you very much for buying me a coffee. Appreciate it very much. I really, really do. I really do. Especially after driving all the way to town today and burning gas for nothing. I get to make back a few of those dollars. And whoa, here's a new report. A ship just reported 93. Oh, buddy, some rough winds out there. I wonder what that's like for them. That's probably pretty gross. We'll come back and we'll look at traffic cams in a minute. But we were on to close a couple of these things here. We were on to Avalanche Canada talk still. On the northwest ranges, periods of snow will begin overnight with strong stream of southwest winds, 5 to 10 centimeters. Okay. BC interior snow at times heavy will begin overnight for southern BC interior ranges, 10 to 20 centimeters, likely by Wednesday morning. We'll go to day 2. Have a look. A low still going to be sort of stationary off there, but a new one's going to form. It's kind of like leapfrog. Sometimes you see thunderstorms do that in the mountains. Even they kind of leapfrog from. I don't think we can still get a cup of coffee for $2 anymore, though. That's true. Hey, so, thanks everybody. Thank you. Okay. BC coast tomorrow morning, 4 a.m. to 4 p.m. This is more or less what you could expect. Freezing levels will drop. So it's going to get a little colder in the wake. The cold front's going to come in there, and it's going to drop temperatures a little bit. Speaking of dropping temperatures, I may have to take a few minutes here and put wood in the wood stove. And I'll put a video on or something like that to entertain you while I do that. But I'll take a quick break here in a few minutes. For the Cascade, freezing rain and our mixed rain and snow will change to flurries by the evening. 10 to 15 millimeters of rain, 5 to 10 centimeters of snow is likely over the northwest ranges. Periods of snow will continue today with extreme southwest winds becoming strong. Southwest winds in the afternoon. Hey, right on, Gamma. Thank you. Aw, awesome. I so appreciate that. You guys, it's built me up, to the point where I'm like, this is all I want to do. Maybe someday I could, but then what happens is my crazy mouth, I say the most insane fucking shit all the time, and I just lose. It's like my kids were saying they told their friend at school I had 6,000 subscribers, and their friend said that's not very much. And my kids kind of took offense to that, and they told me about it. And I said, well, yeah, it's not, but considering that the Caribou is not a big place, and considering that I'm low tech, and considering that not particularly inspiring person, and I say a lot of crazy shit that pisses people off. It's amazing that I have so many. It's amazing so many. You want the stove cam? Okay, yeah, we could do that. It's right behind me, so it's no big deal. Okay, what do we got for BC interior tomorrow morning through the afternoon? Heavy snow will continue for southern BC interior ranges. The snow will diminish to a few flurries in the afternoon. 15 to 25 centimeters can be expected by then. For the central northern BC ranges, a few flurries will dissipate by the afternoon. Partly cloudy in the Yukon with no significant weather under the ridge. It's been cold up there. Been really cold. How cold? Screaming, stupid, bizarre, awful cold. Awful cold. And yeah, you get the picture. Active weather pattern continues on Thursday with another frontal system. That's, I think right now I'm kind of into we'll forecast for the next one and the next one. Because, usually I got these 10-day outlooks and stuff, but I was explaining earlier how I find forecast certainties kind of off right now because we're into this sort of new pattern. Hey, thanks, Nolan. Thank you very much, man. Thank you. Very, very much. Appreciate that. Yeah, one Joey sub equals 12 regular YouTube subs. And and that's the other thing I was saying to the kids too. It's like, well, I'm talking about weather here. It's not like I'm in BC interior. It's not like I'm talking about things that people in Africa will care about or Australia or whatever, you know? So um, it's ambitious to try to make this work when you consider that. So we catch our break, and then Thursday, periods of snow will push into the northern interior, and southern interior will remain fairly dry on the next round. Friday will be fairly dry across the province. So when we get through this one, we'll start talking about that next one and kind of look into the weekend. And we're just kind of over the next bunch of days, we're just going to take one storm at a time, I think is kind of how I want to approach forecasting right now. Because at least, I want to be good. I want to be accurate. And if I'm forecasting 10 days out right now in a period where other meteorologists are saying, well, there's not a lot of certainty right now. Even Environment Canada is saying between tonight and tomorrow morning who gets how much snow, there's not, a lot of certainty from region to region, right? So that's telling. Weak trough approaches the coast on Friday. Friday will be fairly dry. That is that. Okay. Let's see what's going on right now in southern BC. Some snow on the ground in Kelowna. Trail, Highway 3 at Creston Highway Summit. Looking east. Some transport trucks parked there right now. This camera isn't seeing much at all. Oh, snowing hard there at Allison Pass. You can really see it coming down. Already we're in treacherous driving conditions up there. Yeah, Highway 5 at the Great Bear Snow Shed. Nasty looking up there. Nasty looking up there right now. Boothroyd, 12 kilometers north of Boston Bar. Nasty up there right now. What do we got going on in Kamloops? No, it's a time. Okay, nothing. Some dark cams out there. How about Rogers Pass area? Revelstoke. What's Revelstoke got? Revelstoke's got a cool looking train right now. Isn't that sweet? Man, what a catch. What a catch. That's worth a watch. Just happened to have that train sitting right there that's cool. Oh, and my computer closed down. Just to look at some of the traffic cams out there right now. Some of the traffic cams. Looks like traffic's moving still, at least, up on the Highway 1. It's going to get nasty around there soon. Snow falling hard at Columbia Shuswap District, Highway 1, 20 kilometers west of Revelstoke near the Three Valley Gap. I love the Three Valley Gap. I've always wanted to. There's not many things like for vacations, I don't ever have these like, I want to go to a warm country and I want to stay in a resort. And it's just like that kind of shit's never been in my mind. I've always been scraping by as an artist or a firefighter or whatever, just getting by in life and never had dreams of going anywhere nice. But I've always wanted to go to that big Three Valley Gap, and hang out there and like take the helicopter rides and go to all the different things with the I just always wished I could do that. I never really had an excuse to, I guess, or it's like nice to go do things like that with other people, and I don't have other people in my life. Highway 1 at Highland Drive, east of Sorrento, and see Monty Creek. Yeah, I get kind of a more or less. Whoa, the ferry. And how's it looking in Clearwater right now? At least you got some snow on the ground. And it seems like everybody but Williams Lake's got snow on the ground. Okay. Under a snowfall watch in Edmonton, Kelly's saying, yep. What's your art, paint or what? That's a good question. I would call myself an artist of many kinds. Like I've been a successful musician. I've made videos now. I've acted on in theater. I've been in films and TV, not in any great level. I've been a radio broadcaster for a considerable length of time in my life. That was one thing I did. Yeah, I went to university. One of my majors was art. I've made lots of different kinds of art, right? Um, when I got out of university and I started playing music more, and I was like, man, it's so instant. I just gotta like sing for 5 minutes, and the girls love me, and it just when you got my kind of attention span, hey, thanks, man, very, very, very much for the wonderful super donation. I really appreciated that. Wow, look at that. Thanks, everybody, making my night here, making my night here. Yeah, it was so instant to get up there and sing and play instead of like spending weeks on something that you make an art show and people may come and then you're supposed to stand there and talk about it and have a critique with other artists and you know it's just like that culture isn't of professional artist isn't me. Outlaw country singer sure more fit the bill. So I did that. Well, maybe we go back to radar here for a second. We can click on here first and just see if there's anything worth looking at. I do got to put some wood in the stove. So I got to take a minute here. People were asking if they could have the stove cam. And yeah, there you go. I had an opening where nobody showed up, you know. But I had, as an activist, I had to raise money from a legal defense. And I sold all the art I had made at that point. And I never, when that left, I never really went into a process of making more. But I had these native friends of mine who lived in Vancouver. They operated out of my garage. They rented the rental fee to use my garage was I wanted a knife. You're making knives in my garage. Cool, you can do that. Can you make me one knife a month? Like, okay, sounds like a deal. So I got this like immaculate collection of handmade native, First Nations carving knives, and I spent a lot of time carving too. And then after I sold all that art 20 years ago, I just kind of was musician only for quite a while. And now I'm like, man, I'd like to make some art again. Okay, the stove cam. Okay, I'm gonna do this. What we'll do is we'll put the stove cam on for you. We'll load some wood into this bastard, and then once I'm done that, I'll put on a video for you here to kill 5 minutes so I can take piss break and all that. Right. Well, we'll go and find a classic open mic venues. That's not really my thing. I was a professional musician, right? So I wasn't interested in playing at open mics or coffee houses. And when I go back playing professionally again, I don't intend to play for cheap because I didn't when I stopped, right? And I had to have some method of saying, well, I got to have a method of saying no. Gotta have a method to say no because what happens is 50 people are asking you to play shows and you're like, well, I only have so many days and so much energy and I got a life and I gotta, so the price becomes what do you guys think? What kind of film should I put on here? Why don't we put on this is the classic, I know, but I'm trying to find a good Joey video to leave you with here for a few minutes while I take my break. But we will go the stove cam. We will go the stove cam. I got it for you. This is the one. Okay. When that's ready to go. Okay, stove cam. Oh, I gotta. There's the wood stove back there. It's not very bright in here right now. That should warm this place up a little. So what's going on out there? Hey, Kelly. Stove cam. Yeah. Snowing in Kamloops now. Fort St. James is the greatest town on earth. I've had a lot of... Hey, that's funny that you say that. Because the video I'm going to leave you with for 5 minutes before we come back and look at the radar some more. I'm going to take my quick break here. The video I'm going to leave you with was shot in Fort St. James. You'll probably recognize some of these people. That's a classic Joey Only video. Hopefully you can see that. Hello, I'm Joey Only. Welcome to my TV here in Fort St. James. We're going to sing for you today my friend Andrew Neville and the Poor Choice's famous song, All the Stupid Fucking Things I've Done in Fort St. James. Just for fun. Oh, stupid fucking things I've done. All the stupid fucking things I've done just for fun. I was young, and I didn't mean to hurt no one. No, I didn't mean to hurt no one when I shot that gun. So, when the coppers come, tell them that I'm young and dumb and I'm on the run. Just tell them. Oh, the stupid fucking things I've done. All the stupid fucking things I've done. Well, I've done them just for fun. Oh, the stupid fucking things I've done. The stupid fucking things I've done just for fun. I was drunk and I was stinking like a skunk. I was hoping that I don't blow chunks and I never won. But I fell down on my knees and prayed for Jesus to come and save my ass again, my friends. Oh, stupid fucking things I've done. Oh, stupid fucking things I've done. Well, I've done them just for fun. Oh, stupid fucking things I've done. The stupid fucking things I've done just for fun. I got caught when I got busted at the border. No, I can't remember in which order I went down with my drugs and guns. Oh, hell, they fucked me up in my cell. It's a story that I'd rather not tell to anyone or everyone. Oh, stupid fucking things I've done. All the stupid fucking things I've done. Well, I've done them just for fun. Oh, stupid fucking things I've done. All the stupid fucking things I've done just for fun. Woo, get stupid! Well, don't give up.
Don't give up
On your stupid little dreams and all your stupid little dreams. Even when it might seem you can't win your stupid little dreams. All your stupid fucking little dreams. So don't give up. Don't fucking give up. Oh, the stupid fucking things I've done. All the stupid fucking things I've done. Well, I've done them just for fun. Oh, stupid fucking things I've done. All the stupid fucking things I've done just for fun. Well, oh, stupid fucking things I've things I've done. Well, I've done them just for fun. Oh, the stupid fucking things I've done. All the stupid fucking things I've done just for fun. Oh, the stupid fucking things I've done. All the stupid fucking things I've done. Well, I've done them just for fun. Oh, the stupid fucking things I've done. All the stupid fucking things I've done them just for fun. That's the out-of-tune version. Stupid. That was kind of stupid. Yeah, we used to drink. And, it was actually a lot of fun back then. Too bad it made me want to die until I just decided to never drink again. But did a lot of stupid fucking things. And a lot of it was pretty fun. Yeah, snowing now. Williams Lake seen a little bit of snow at this time. Spring House seen a little bit of snow. We're down in Wright, Alkali Lake, out in past Hansville and Redstone. Chesapeake getting a little bit of snow up there. Looks like it's falling pretty good at a couple mountains there that are eluding my brain right now. The Itches and Ilgatches. Those volcanoes there. Itches and Ilgatches, Anaheim Lake, Nimpo, seeing some snow up there. So it looks like a lot of that. Highway 20 coming down. And I'm sure if we had radar coverage, we'd see nastiness down through Haggensburg, down towards Bella Coola. I would not be wanting to go on the, water down the pass tonight, down the Heckman Pass. That's the Heckman Pass, it's called. Still no snow here in Wells yet. It looks like, things are starting to cloud up. Have been clouding up for a number of hours here. I don't think it's going to be very long before we see some of this start to jump over and turn itself up on the mountains. What do we got for winds right now in the Caribou? Nothing too crazy out there. Nothing too crazy. A couple windy spots, but nothing like we were seeing earlier down south. Let's go down south and see what's going on down south. Get the new update on things down south right now. A little bit of so people reporting snow in Kamloops. Look like it's coming down pretty good. That's a nice solid band right now through Barnhart Vale, Monty Creek, Dallas, Savinaw seeing some. It looks like a little bit of that drive. If you're heading up north, maybe it's not happening yet towards Little Fort and Clearwater, but you wouldn't have to go some of that drive down to Kamloops. You're going to run into it. Highway 1 seeing a lot of it down through Falkland and whatnot, and even a little south of there into Vernon, seeing some of that as well. So that's on Highway 1. Sorry, what am I talking about? That's Highway 1 up there in Esconlet. That's the highway. I'm talking at my ass right now. I'm sorry, everybody. Well, you screwed that one up, Joseph. All right, Armstrong, seeing some solid snow right now. We got this is the radar station right here, so it's giving us there's an area there where it's kind of hard to tell what's exactly going on because it's like right on the radar. But Lumbee, seeing some good snow. So that Highway 6 out there to the Monashee Mountains right now. You're going to be running into some pretty heavy snowfall. Wow, look at some of this stuff down here. Not too far from Big White. It's coming down pretty good out there. Kelowna seeing some snow. It looks like it's maybe less so at this moment than it was. Definitely some heavier snow down that 33 towards Beaverdale, Westbridge. I saw a really hilarious traffic accident here once. And I am hearing that there's traffic accidents being reported right now. I don't have the Facebook open. I can only do so many things at a time. And what are you barking at? Nobody's here. It's me. I move my chair and the dog's like, whoa. Just on guard in case someone moves a chair. And, yeah, so I saw a hilarious accident right where Highway 33 comes in at Rock Creek. And there's a stop sign there, and you're coming this way. And these people, I don't know what had happened, but there's like a cement median there, the stop sign's on. And they're up on the cement median, and it hit the stop sign. And I only guess was they're coming in hot and hit the brakes, like, and it was really snowy, crappy conditions. And hit the brakes and ended up, rather than going through the intersection, hitting the stop sign itself. But it looked pretty funny at the time. I was I thought that was pretty funny. And my touring life as a musician, I saw a lot of crazy accidents out there. Speaking of which, another time, right through this area, there's some snowfall going on in Kelowna. I saw this sports car. It was like one lane only, basically up that 4-lane highway. It was like it snowed so hard, and it wasn't snowing anymore, but the road hadn't caught up with it, right? And so I'm behind this transport truck for a long time going 60. It's like I'm not gonna try to pass this guy. I'll totally lose it as soon as I try to pass this guy. So I'm like just taking the slow, and this sports car is behind me, eh? And you can tell he's like some Vancouver guy or something, and he's just like buzzing for 10 kilometers. He's just behind. He's like, I can't take it any longer. It's not even snowing. I'm sure. I'm trying to imagine the argument going on in his head. And finally, he does. How those guys they do this like get up right behind you, and they try to be like fucking Tom Cruise there, and go around you there. Remember that movie? And get into that air behind you. They try to drive like and he does that. He like rockets past me, and then he gets in behind that transport up ahead, and then he goes to do the same thing there. You pull out real fast and hit the gas and go. And of course, what happens then? He just goes woo in his car. And I noticed when he was passing me too, his nice sports car. I can't remember what it was. It was a Jaguar or Mercedes or something like that. Uh, like a nice sports car, and it had a for sale sign in the window as he passed me. So there he goes spinning out, and there just happened to be like the highways are like so, and there's like that emergency vehicles have that gap sometimes that the road crossed over, and he went straight into one of those, but it was like big snow banks, and it was all powder snow, and he just went into there and he hit that powder snow, and it was like an explosion, like poof, like a mushroom cloud of snow went up in the air. And finally I came by 20, 30 seconds later and just laughed. Like, that's it you get, buddy. Like, want to pretend you're racing around out there. Oh, radar update. Want to go racing around up there, and when you shouldn't be. So Kootenay's taking some snow now as well. A little bit down by the Farquhar Ferry. Falling at this time. It's going to start moving in for you soon. It's going to start moving in for you real soon. And we did see on the traffic cam that there is snow falling in some of those places. So what I mean by it, we'll be moving in. I mean the heavier bands, and you can see like the heaviest band right now seems to be this guy, more or less, right? Some of the heaviest snow at this time. Although this stuff down here is falling pretty good. What's going on the coast right now? Ooh, that's a nice hit. Look at that. So pretty. Souk just getting slammed. Pouring. It's pouring in Souk. It's like thunderstorm heavy pouring. Like that's those colors. Let's see here. What are we reading here? 44 dBZs. So pretty heavy. When we're looking at thunderstorms, we start getting into like 55. Generally, we're talking hail at that point, because that's like such a strong radar return. So really strong radar returns right now through Souk, Metchosin, Beecher Bay, Shirley, Jordan River, Saanich, about to see some of that. Central Saanich, about to see some of that. Port Renfrew taking it pretty hard right now. Some pretty heavy rainfall down there. Looks like that's where the heaviest precip is falling in BC at this moment. And what do we got in the winds? BC has great hiking all over. Yeah, man. I don't know if you've seen some of my mountaineering videos. I don't get out mountaineering as much as I used to, because often now, doesn't mean I haven't been climbing mountains every year. It's just that I've been doing it as a firefighter more and more the last 8 to 10 years. So my summer climbing season was very short this year. You're waiting until the end of June or July till the trails are completely free up in the mountains if you don't want to bring snowshoes up there. In a lot of these places, you go into a dark side of the mountain, and it's June 15th. I didn't expect to see this, says the rookie. Right. So yeah, we have awesome mountaineering around Wells here. And what I love about this place is it's pretty wild. Like we don't, I've climbed a number of mountains here that are fantastic mountains where there's no actual trail, and only the hardcores go up there. Like Ishpa this September, that's straight trail, like it would be awesome to have one there, but at the same time, like, well, if you put one there, then everyone will go there. And then to get there was like through a maze of logging roads that go this way and that way and then branch off of here and there. So, it took some adventuring to get out there, and then you got to beat a straight. Been plenty of rain in Saanich all day, says Sean. Beat a straight path into the bush. And if you got a good mental compass, no big deal. There's our precip still in southern BC. Well, we've been on for quite a while here. I don't know what left I have to say necessarily. If you have questions, though, we could look at a few things here. Have any tips or info for storm chasing in the interior? Yeah, good question. Some of the problems I find in the interior are like problems you'd find if you were in Arkansas or Tennessee storm chasing. Some of these problems include, and Ontario is also bad for this, because it's roly-poly ground. You think of it as a flat place, but it's forested and it's roly-poly, and you don't get a good view of the sky in a lot of places. So the first issue is like visibility. I've had this problem so many times. If you're actively trying to chase a storm, how much time you can actually get good visibility on it. So one of my tactics is to set up where I think it's going to be on the top of a mountain, logging path, logging road, park up high. I like only want to go where I don't see anybody. Yeah, that's what I was saying, because I broke down when on my scouting mission out to Ishba. I broke down, and the key I needed, there's a little tire key you need, and the guy didn't put it back in my truck. And okay, so I got no tire key, flat tire, no big deal. And no one's going to come back here, so I started walking. It was like 55K from Wells. I made it 13K before I did bump into somebody, and before dark. It was nice, but I said that's, if I sit here and wait, no one's coming, and that's why I come here. Nobody comes here. So that's the problem when you go where no one goes. I totally lost train of my story I was telling. Oh yeah, so chasing, and so your one problem is like visibility. So it's like nice if you can park somewhere and catch it coming in at you, but then of course you can't do the chase necessarily, because then you're maybe in a sketchy place where trying to get to but active chasing is really difficult. So you can find those open places through the Central Caribou that could give you some relief. But even then, like I've been south of Quesnel and been trying to find a good place to see thunderstorm doing its thing, and it's like, man, there's always a tree or farm, and there's not a lot of big open sky spots. So I mean, that's what you're trying to find, right? Another thing that's burnt me a few times here is, I've only been a cell phone user for a very short time. I was like the last person on earth to get one. But even then, I have like these radar apps on there, and I can go on Radar Scope, the one we're just looking at on the phone, and see where the storm's doing, and then make it. If I was in Alberta and I have like 5 radars in every direction, and they're unobstructed, they can look across and see storms, and my view is unobstructed, I can go and get in a good chase spot really easy and succeed. So I found chasing in the prairies is, especially in those radar heavy areas in Alberta, you can't lose. Meanwhile, sometimes the heaviness of the precipitation in the storms here can throw you off too. You're out in the prairie, and there's often a lot more of a rain-free base. They're not often HP storms, and we've had a lot of low precipitation storms this year. And they offered, like the one that hit into Wells, for example, that I got that fantastic video of this summer that started our wildfires here, with very low precipitation. So it made for gorgeous lightning photography. Like everything was unobstructed, and that's great. So it's like, so you go out there, you're trying to chase a storm, you don't have data on what it's doing, And then you got roly-poly hills you can't find. You go park somewhere there's good viewing, but then it's moving, so then suddenly you're not in a good place to move it. So these are all like those are complications that, depending where you are and how often you're chasing and what kind of chasing you want to do, that things are gonna have to really try to work out in your region. You know, find your spots, find your tactics, because it's going to be a lot more difficult. The other thing about looking for tornadoes here is they're very short-lived often in BC when they do come down, right? They're often quasi-linear spin-ups that are much harder to determine when they're going to happen using radar. It's not like, oh, look, that storm is rotating. Clearly, in 15 minutes, I bet you it's going to start dropping a funnel. You know, then you have like gustnadoes at the front of storms. So I've seen like a number of different kinds of tornadic behavior in BC. Yep. Yeah. I mean, I've seen some amazing storms in Red Deer, for sure. For sure. Some amazing storms there. I got my phone's dinging and this and that. We've been on for quite a while. If you have any other questions, I'll try to answer them here before we get on. Get on with their night. And I think for the most part, we've kind of covered what's going on out there. Well, if you're just coming back with us, though, we could take another couple minutes here and just review. I know we didn't really talk about Alberta either when we are looking at all the warnings and statements and things. So here, let's set this up here for a second. Get back to our warnings page. So why is Alberta and Saskatchewan on the red? Well, it's bad news for these guys. It's right now. It's because of the extreme cold. A period of very cold wind chills is expected in Saskatchewan, central Saskatchewan. Minus 40 to 45 is expected this evening. That'll put everyone at risk. What's the farthest north I've been? North of Whitehorse, a ways, but not what I consider deep into the Yukon. I would love to go to the Yukon, and I mean, possibly when the kids are old enough, I'll just be like, well, it's too busy around here. I'm going north. Up to 20 centimeters in southern Saskatchewan. Pockets of 20 centimeters up to in Kindersley, Moose Jaw, Estevan. Snow will ease by daybreak on Thursday, so that's your next clipper coming on through. And you expect to see some statements in the near future for Manitoba. But the screaming cold, actually, you have two different warnings going on. So yeah, this is an update, and Kelly did give me a tip on this here, and I should have clued in because it was just extreme cold earlier, but now we also have snowfall warnings going on in Alberta as well. So we got a fresh snowfall, and that was the case as well in Saskatchewan. 2 hours ago, there was not a snowfall warning there. So, things update and change all the time, which is why we're here. So the southern part of Alberta got the snowfall warning, 10 to 15 centimeters there. It looks like, neither. Looks like extreme cold warning. So the snow, they got this precipitation, this moisture is butting up against this cold. It can't stay in the air because it's too cold. It's got to fall. And that's going to trigger some big time snow along those contacts of where that cold meets the moisture in the warmer Pacific weather. 10 to 15 centimeters through Edmonton there, Southview, Alberta. So some extreme cold warnings up to the north of you, minus 45. So yeah, there's some things to be mindful of in Alberta right now, and Saskatchewan. Extreme cold and some pretty heavy snowfall. 10 centimeters in the Pine Pass, just reviewing our warnings here, and 10 to 15 centimeters in the Caribou. Down through the Columbias, 15 to 20 centimeters, could see 30 up there. We got up to 40 centimeters even possible if you are in the Highway 3, winter storm warning there for the Kootenay and Paulson passes. Wind warning now down on the Alberta side, up to 100 kilometers an hour for those areas through the Crow's Nest in Alberta. So all those end of Highway 22 comes down there. So it gets really, really windy down there often. And I've heard people talk about in Pincher Creek, they call wind madness. So old men are just so tired of the wind that they're like kind of gone crazy from it. 10 to 15 centimeters, a special weather statement. So some of these weather statements could be upgraded depending on how things start playing out, right? Special weather statement for freezing rain, possibly. So some of these areas in central BC where that could be going on, like Kilchina, Merritt, Douglas Lake, Tulameen, Coalmont, snowfall warning if you get up to higher elevations, 15 to 20 centimeters there. Same with a winter storm warning on the Coquihalla, 30 centimeters for the Coquihalla proper, up to 60-kilometer-an-hour winds gusting through there. So nasty. Yeah. People are going to hop off. Have a good night to you too, Nolan. Everybody, I think we're almost done here for tonight. We've pretty much said everything that we're going to have to say. 50 to 80 millimeters of rain on the coast. Just reviewing for you here, rainfall. If you have any more questions, folks, now's the time to ask them because probably going to sign off here soon if we have nothing left to talk about. Rainfall warning for the places like Malahat Highway, Coldstream, out in Victoria, not quite in Victoria itself, 100 millimeters of rain on the west coast. So that's mostly everything in Canada right now, actually. Although up in the Yukon and up in the Northwest Territories, extreme cold is showing up there. Minus 50 wind chills. Minus 50 wind chills. It's telling you dress in layers. You know, don't go outside, man. Minus 50. Are you crazy? But people are like, well, how do we survive here? Well, it won't be minus 50 forever. By the weekend, some of this should improve up there by Friday, I think, for people. At least that's what I was surmising earlier. Minus 50 wind chills, man. Yeah, temperatures are forecast to moderate on Friday. There you go. So that's all the news in Canada except for one blizzard warning out there. And good night to you too, Heather. You're welcome, everybody. You're welcome. And it was fun. And no records broken yesterday. No daily records across Canada. Pretty interesting. There you go. Nonstop. Well, everybody, tell a friend, hit like, share, subscribe. Good luck with this weather. We'll probably have a proper forecast video for you in the morning, something like that. But it was fun just to kind of shoot the shit for a while tonight. I enjoyed that. Right on. I'm glad you enjoyed that song, Jess. Yeah, I think I'll put something in the oven to eat and maybe warm up the World of Warships game and, take it easy for the rest of the night. I think that's the show, everybody. Okay. Thanks for all the supers. Really appreciate that. It's putting food on my plate. Thanks, everybody. Very much. All the memberships. Really appreciate that. Appreciate all the support over the years. Owe a lot of you a lot of things. We'll see you next time, everybody.